This is where I film every single video on my channel right now. But it didn't always look like this. This is where I started. Same living room, same space, different approach. And the difference isn't really about the gear, it's about understanding what actually makes a space look intentional on camera. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how I set my living room up as my YouTube studio. The background, the positioning, the lighting, the audio, everything step by step. You don't need a dedicated room. You don't need to spend thousands. You just need to know what you're doing with what you already have. Let's get into it.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you say.
Quick bit of context before we dive in. I film all my videos, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everything from this one corner in my living room. I don't have a separate office. This is it. And I think that's actually important to say up front because a lot of people are waiting until they have the perfect space before they act. In fact, I stopped myself from starting for years because I said, once I move, I will start my YouTube channel. I wanted a spare room, a home office, a proper setup, you know, the whole shebang. But the truth is, your living room is more than enough. You just need to treat it with intention. That's what this video is about. Not perfection, intention. Let's start from the very beginning, choosing the background and position. The first decision you need to make is where in your room you're gonna film. And this matters more than most people think because your background isn't just what's behind you. It's a part of your brand. Every video you post, your background is gonna be right there. People start to associate it with you. So choose it carefully. For me, I'm filming into the corner of my living room. And there are a few reasons why a corner works really, really well. First, it gives you depth, okay? Filming into a corner creates natural layers in the background. Things at different distances from the camera, which makes the frame feel more three-dimensional rather than flat. Secondly, it contains the space. A corner naturally limits what's in the background, which means that there's less to tidy up, less to distract you, and you have more control over what the viewer actually sees. I have a bookshelf and a laptop that's visible in my background. And the reason I like these two things specifically is because they make the space feel lived in. Like it's an actual space where someone works and creates, not just a blank wall with lighting pouring onto it. That's the difference between a setup that looks staged and one that looks intentional. You've got real objects in a real environment, just curated. So when you're choosing your spot, look for a corner if you can. Add one or two elements behind you that feel natural to your space, a bookshelf, a plant, a lamp, something that says something about who you are without screaming for attention. Now, my poster might scream for attention, but I love that, so it's gone straight there. Okay, before we even talk about the lights and the gear, I want to talk about something that made a big difference to my videos more than almost everything else I've changed. Standing up. I know that sounds almost too simple. And honestly, when I was starting out, I didn't even question it. I sat down like everybody else because that's what people do when they film YouTube videos. I just assumed that was the format. But when I watched my early videos back, and I mean really watched them, I noticed something. I wasn't myself. I was less expressive, less energetic, less like the person I actually am when I'm talking to someone in real life. Sitting down was physically containing me. My gestures were smaller, my energy was lower, and the camera was picking all of that up. The moment I stood up, everything changed. My delivery opened up, my hands moved naturally, I felt more like myself and less like someone performing in front of a camera. Now, look, if standing up doesn't work for you and your setup, for your kind of style, that's totally fine. But if you've been filming sitting down and something feels a little bit off about your delivery, try standing up. It might be the simplest adjustment that you do that makes the biggest difference. Now let's talk about lighting, because this is where most home setups either look great or fall apart. I use 3 lights in my setup: a key light, an ambient light, and a spotlight. And let me break down what each one is doing. The key light. First, this is your main light source, okay? This is the one that illuminates your face. I'm using the Nanlite FS300C with a 90cm newer octobox and grid attachment. It cost me around $250 and it's generally the only light you need to start. It's powerful. It can do color RGB if you want to get creative. And the octobox gives you that soft, flattering light that makes your face look natural rather than harsh. Position this key light slightly to the side and slightly above eye level, not directly in front of you, because that slight angle creates dimension on your face whereas directly in front of you flattens everything out. The second light I'm using is this ambient lamp, the Aperture MC, which I've stuck on the wall behind me. Now, this adds a warm glow to the background and separates you from the space behind. Without it, the background can look and feel flat and dark, but with it, the whole frame just feels more warmer and more inviting. You don't need this light exactly. A standard warm lamp from a home store works perfectly well here. The principle matters more than the actual light itself. Add a light source in the background to create some depth. The third light I'm using is my favorite element in this frame, and it's the one most people ask me about. I'm using the Amaran 60XS paired with a nanolight projection attachment, which creates the blinds effects that you see on the wall behind me. Yes, it's not actually coming from the blinds over there. Now, I'd actually recommend getting a smaller projection attachment than the one I have, because the PJ-BM36 is just too big. It's oversized for this kind of setup and it's heavy as hell, okay? But the effect itself is simple. It's distinctive and it makes the background look way more nicer and intentional without being too distracting. Now, this is the kind of detail that makes your setup look like your setup. Something recognizable, something that becomes a part of your visual brand, and you will see this in almost all of my videos. So to recap the lighting: key light for your face, ambient light for the background, warmth, depth, and an accent light if you want that extra layer of personality. You don't need it, but it's a nice to have. So start with just the key light, and if you're building from scratch, add the others as you go. For camera height, keep it simple. Eye level or just slightly above. I use a tripod to get my camera height just where I want it. The one I use is nothing fancy. It's just a standard fluid head tripod that's stable and easy to adjust. What matters the most is that it's sturdy, okay? And that it's not gonna move mid-filming session. Because I've had some tripods, they be wobbling or they be moving and sliding, and that'd be crazy. Can't have that while you're filming yourself. I also use a Glide Gear TMP 100 teleprompter mounted in front of my lens. This lets me read my script while looking directly into the camera, so my eye contact feels more natural rather than like I'm reading off screen somewhere, okay? If you're just starting out, you probably don't need a teleprompter. But if you find yourself looking away from the lens a lot, or you struggle to remember what you want to say, it's worth considering. It changed how natural my delivery felt on camera, because before I used to try and memorize the words I wanted to say, and then sometimes I'll go off script and I'll ramble a little bit, and then I have to cut all of that out in the edit. It just adds on more time, okay? All right, time for audio. Now, I'm gonna keep this section short because honestly, my audio setup is pretty simple. See it right here. I use the DJI Mic Mini 2. It's a wireless clip-on mic, and I clip it to whatever I'm wearing. Hoodie, t-shirt, jacket, whatever. That's it. No boom mic, no studio treatment, no soundproofing panels on the walls because it's my living room, right? So there's not gonna be any acoustic treatment in here. And my audio still sounds pretty clean because the mic is close enough to my mouth and it's capturing my voice directly rather than relying on the camera mic, which will pick up everything in the room. That's the key principle of audio in a home setup. Get the mic as close to your mouth as possible. A decent wireless clip-on mic will outperform an expensive camera mic every single time because it's just too far away from your voice. A quick pause here. If you're setting up your space and getting ready to start filming consistently, the next thing you're gonna need is a system for actually planning and organizing all your content. What to film, when to film it, how to stay on top of it without it taking over your life. That's exactly what the Creators Command Center is built for. It's a Notion template with your content calendar, your scripting template, your filming checklist, your 30 plus ideas for any niche and more, all in one place. This is a system that I use to run pretty much my entire content operation as a solo creator. The link will be in the description as always. Go check it out. So let's put it all together. Here's what my setup looks like, the complete system. Corner of my living room, bookshelf and laptop in the background, okay? Lived in intention. Standing up, okay? Camera at eye level, key light to the side, ambient light behind, spotlight over there, DJI mic clipped on, teleprompter in front of the lens, and that's it. That's the whole shebang, okay? And here's what I want you to take away from this video. None of this happened overnight. I accumulated these things over time, okay? You can start with one lamp and your phone. Then you can add the key light. Then something in the background. Then a spotlight if you wanted to. And it will evolve as you go. You don't need to build all of this from day one. Start with your corner, stand up or sit down, whichever works for you. One good light, film it, watch it back, then add the next thing. The goal isn't a perfect studio. The goal is a space that looks intentional, but more importantly, looks like you. That's the setup. Same living room I've been filming in since day one, just with more intention behind every element. If this was useful, I would love for you to hit that like and hype button and subscribe if you haven't already. We're building something good over here and I'd love to have you along for the journey. As always, I will see you. I said I will see you in the next one. Peace and love every single time. Denz.